Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network and another episode of Prop Party. That's right. We're covering alts. We're covering anytime touchdowns. We're covering parlays. We're covering all for week 2 in just 1 minute. That's right. Welcome back. Prop Party week 2. Week 1 was a very successful one. I'll get into that in a minute. But let me say hi to the guys. First, I'm joined every Thursday by my brother, Steve. We've got Tyler, and we have basically a party, a good old time, because our favorite things are talking about alts and anytime touchdowns and parlays and all that good stuff. So, Tyler, go to you first. How was your week 2? Or excuse me, how was your week 1, and how are you feeling about week 2?
Yeah, week 1 was fun. What was it, 5-1 over on the sheet? We put up the winner.
Oh yeah, you guys crushed it.
Looking to build on that. Had some good prop winners on this show last week too, so hopefully we can get some more winners.
Absolutely. Steve, I know you had a good week in DFS and betting too. Tell me about your week 1. Tell me how you're feeling about week 2.
Yeah, it was a very profitable week. DFS, pretty decent in betting, especially in like these props, pushing some props. Just a couple parlays, just missed by one leg, would have been really, really profitable otherwise, but good all around. So yeah, excited for week 2. I think we got some matchups we can exploit and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. We got Jamie in chat. Party time. That's right. It is party time for sure. Let me pull over this banner. So I want to explain what we're doing on Fanspeak. So as Tyler mentioned, the sides and totals that they talk about on Mondays and Tuesdays. Mondays, check out their reaction recap show. Tuesdays, check out their NFL betting card show. They talk it all through, every game, everything from the prior week, everything for the current week. Check it all out here on Fanspeak Network. Then go over to fanspeak.com for 100% free. You get their NFL betting card. They were 5-1 last week. So I'm super excited. I love their picks for this week. So definitely go check that out on fanspeak.com. We will be, of course, talking every Thursday here about the alts, the touchdowns, the parlays. And you can get a lot of good information that you can tail. But if you just want to make it easy and have things to tail, sign up for our Dub Club. So if you see at the bottom of the ticker, we are on Dub Club. It's Dub Club. It's dubclub.win/r/ Twitter handle Megs08DFS, which is the easier way to get to it is if you go, it'll be on the homepage by tomorrow, but look for it on the homepage soon. But in the meantime, if you go to their NFL betting card, it is right there with a link for Dub Club. So subscribe for Dub Club, 7 free days, the 7-day free trial, and then it's just $20 a month. I can tell you it was a very profitable week 1 if you were subscribed to Dub Club. The anytime touchdowns were up significantly, great record, and then also we're hammering like plus odd, bangers. So up significantly anytime touchdowns. Alts were the record was probably, break even or maybe slightly under, but we hit multiple ladders that we talked on the show, by the way. Nico Collins, Kenneth Walker, Tyler's guy, Cooper Kupp, I mentioned Jameson Williams. We talked about this all. We hit all these ladders, not just the ladders.
Yep.
And that was all on Dub Club. So I will have a full breakdown on Twitter, on Dub Club, if you're subscribed, to see our full week 1 breakdown. We're going to be totally transparent, the good, the bad, and the really good. So we're going to be putting that out on Dub Club every Friday. Here's how we did the prior week, and then on Twitter as well. But subscribe to Dub Club again. Look for it on the homepage tomorrow. Check it out on their betting card for now. Again, 7-day free trial. I will have the Thursday night picks up within an hour after the end of this show. So, and that's one last thing before we get into it is I will be sending out Dub Club on Thursday for the Thursday night game, on Monday for the Monday night game, on Saturday for the Sunday night game, and then if there's any last minute things, Sunday morning. So you will get it all 3 to 4 days, recaps on Fridays. So you'll be getting messages. It message you directly, email, and then it's just easy. You pull it up in your email, you tail it, and tell what you like, basically. And I also do a list of the alts, a list of the anytime touchdowns that I'm betting individually, so you can approach it that way. And of course, we have some fun parlays. Also, I have to take one more victory lap. Steve, you knew this, what I had. Sunday night. So on Dub Club, I swept the board. We bet David Montgomery touchdown, Kyron touchdown, Jameson touchdown, Cup touchdown, swept the board there. Then I threw the under on for fun because I was so pissed off how the games went that day. I was like, these games suck. So I'm throwing the under on, hit that. Then I hit the props. Basically it was the props we talked about here, Tyler. I did Cup, I did Jameson Williams, and then I added David Montgomery. Kept it simple. These are 3 guys that I like in the game. And we just did, and I bet so those were the 4 touchdowns. Those were the 3 alts. Those were the parlays. Everything hit, swept the board. So it was a over 2K night for me. It was amazing. It was so fun. Steve knows and enjoyed the sweat with me talking to me after. So that was awesome. And a lot of it I can thank to the prep we had during this show. So that's my Dove Club spiel. It'll be a much quicker one in future weeks, but I hope you check it out and enjoy the ride with us because a lot of it will be things we talk about here. So let's get into the fun here. Week 2, we're going to start with our favorite alts of the week. So Tyler, your Cooper Cup was awesome. That ladder was awesome. Let's go back to the well with you. Who are your 1, 2, 3 favorite alts this week?
We'll stick with the same city, but we'll go with the other team. We'll go with the Chargers this time, Meg.
I like
J.K. Dobbins, 100 rushing yards at
Oh,
7-1 against Carolina, who just lost Eric Brown in the middle. What do you have, 10 for 130 last week? You got to think he touches the ball more. When they gave Gus the ball early in the game, he couldn't move it. And then J.K. Dobbins was able to open it up for him, get him downfield. I think he sees 15 to 18 carries this week. There's another special on FanDuel, him to rush for 50 yards in each half. It started off at 21-1. It's 16-1 now. I would still bet that because I could see him doing that too.
Yeah.
So I'm locked in on J.K. Dobbins this week. Think he scores a touchdown. Think he crosses 100 yards. Just dominates the entire slate.
I think we forget because, and I heard someone talking about this on another podcast. I hammer the usage podcast like on Tuesdays and Wednesdays to figure out the usage. And I think someone in talking about J.K. Dobbins' success, I think we forget how young he is. He's had these 2 massive injuries, but he's only 25, 26 years old.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he's young.
Yeah. And so that's what I think we forget. I feel like
he's young.
Yeah. So I love that call. And that's a perfect get out the ladder. You can ladder that right up. If you don't want to go right to 100, hit the ladder and definitely go all the way to 100 for 7-1. Cause I love that, Tyler. Anything else you got in the alt streets?
That's the only alt I like on Sunday tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk more about tonight's game, but Keon Coleman's alts, I think, are very live.
Nice.
I think he's going to light it up tonight. His regular numbers right around. And
it's like
looking
40
at some of his alts, let me get to receiving yards.
I think you can start the alts at 50 for plus odds for Coleman tonight.
Yeah, 50 plus is 120, 60 is 195, 100 is 11-1. If he catches 5 balls and one of them's the deep ball, that 100 is definitely in play. They made it post game too when Josh Allen ran a second touchdown in. He said that play was designed for Coleman to catch the touchdown. He was going to try and throw it, but then he decided to run it. And then finish that with, I just need to let the kid do what he does special, and I just need to get him the ball.
Okay.
So he's going to get him the ball.
I like it because Steve and I already talked about what's going on in the Dove Club, and I'll give you a little preview. Keon Coleman touchdown is in there, so I like that. And I feel like when we do our same Thursday night, same game parlay, show parlay, I have a feeling you're going to add a Keon Coleman leg, and I like that. Steve, I'll head over to you then. What are some of your favorite alts this week?
My first one is a guy who got a touchdown last week but didn't get the yards, and that's Derrick Henry.
Damn, you took mine, but I love it.
His over-under, I'm looking on FanDuel right now, 72.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing that all the way up to 100, but I'm going to ladder it. I'm going to take it at 80.
80 and 100.
And can take it at 100. And, 100 is 20 plus 230. I might even take it a little higher to 110 or 125, even just throw a little bit more in there, because just look historically, Derrick Henry's always done much better in games where they're favored, games where his team wins, and Ravens are favored by 8.5 points, I believe it's still at. So we're just talking about a situation where, the Ravens are favored, not the Raiders, obviously. And the Raiders just gave up a lot of yards on the ground. Their defense is better. There's no question about that, but they just, Kenneth Walker kept hammering them, and guess what? Henry's better than Kenneth Walker. So, give me Derrick Henry, laddering up 80 and 100 for sure, and probably will do at least 110.
Yeah, I like that. I love that. That was one of mine on my list, but that's fine. You could take it because that's a good one, and you will likely see that on the Dub Club sheet as well, I'm guessing. What else do you got? Any other alts that you're liking?
So another alt that I like is targeting our team, and that is Malik Neighbors. His receiving prop is 64.5. Sign me up for 70, sign me up for 90, sign me up for 100. 100 is just had it is plus 300. We're talking against the Washington defense that just can't stop anyone. Emmanuel Forbes is getting surgery, so he won't even be in there. And as bad as
that's not a plus. He's not anything good. Who's replacing Forbes?
That's a fair question. I don't know. I haven't seen yet this news. I just saw Ian Rappaport break it about 10 minutes before we jumped on. But I just don't think it's going to be a good thing. And I think Neighbors, he had, I think, 6-7 targets week 1. I look for more than that this week against a just horrendous Washington secondary. They're just awful. I mean, Baker could do anything he wanted. Baker should have had a much better game because Jalen McMillan dropped a 30-some yard touchdown.
Yeah.
It's just not looking good. And I think Neighbors, this is going to be his breakout game. After as bad as the Giants offense looked week 1, this is the game where they want to show a little bit more. So
yeah. If there's ever a get right spot for the Giants, it is just handed to them on a silver platter against the Washington historically bad secondary. Anything else? If not, I can do mine. But any other alts that you're liking?
I don't see it on FanDuel, but I am interested in Najee Harris's rushing alt.
Yeah, I didn't see that on FanDuel either, and I actually don't think I see it on DraftKings, and I'm not sure why, but I like that too.
Yeah, I'm guessing just because the uncertainty of Justin Fields and all that.
I thought he was already declared week 2 starter. No,
they're saying he's expected, but
okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's like official. I don't know why else they wouldn't have props up.
Yeah.
So one other one that I do like is Kyren Williams alt.
Mm-hmm.
You could do combined yardage, but I like his rushing. It wasn't super efficient week 1, but he was on the field the entire time. Blake Corum just wasn't a factor. And the Cardinals gave up a lot of rushing to obviously Josh Allen and to James Cook. And I just think Kyren Williams is going to be out there. I like a combined prop actually better.
Rush receiving.
Yeah. But I think you can do his rushing as well. I think this could be a good game for him. I love Cooper Kupp in this game as well, but I think Kyren Williams could have a big game against this Cardinals defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, Cooper Kupp was a big one that all three of us loved. Tyler talked about, we all loved. We put it on the sheet. We bet it. We loved it. We laddered it. We did it all. And so I'm going to go back for my first one. It's still not high enough. I mean, he got like 20 targets, 14 catches, something like that. Puka's out. Yes, there are other receiving options. But I do think that the nice thing about this game is it offers some back and forth nature, whereas some other games, you're concerned about the back and forth nature. So let me find what it's out on DraftKings. So I looked at a FanDuel. Let me see if I can find it quickly over on DraftKings, what 100 is. So, 100, you could get it at 90 plus one, even money, but 100 is plus 145. So, until they make that like basically, minus 110, I just think it's still a good bet. So I love that. And I'm going back to two other guys I liked this last week. One hit for me, one did not. And you mentioned it, Steve, Baker Mayfield. We bet Baker Mayfield, I believe 250 and we had that on the sheet, or maybe it was 275. He hit that, obviously. He got 4 touchdowns. Listen, this Lions Bucks game, it's I believe the highest total on the slate. It has absolute shootout potential. You want to target both defenses in the passing game. You do not want to try to run against these defenses. It's a pass funnel on both sides. So I think we have a shootout for both potential both offenses to have a potential shootout in the air. So I like Baker Mayfield. I obviously like his pass catchers, Evans and Godwin, but you get 275 plus is plus 148. So I'm just writing this down. So 275 plus is plus 148. And remember the playoff game, which they lost by, I think it was like 27-20 or something along those lines. No, it was higher than that. I think it was 30-23, something, because it definitely went over its current total. I think it was like 53-point total last year, the result of the playoff game. Baker threw for 349. He almost hit 350 yards. So I believe he was 349-3, something along those lines. So just love this game all around. This is my favorite game on the slate by far. So again, I like Baker. I mean, obviously, when we get to the parlay section, I'm just going to build a same game parlay on this game alone. I absolutely love it. But Baker, we're going right back to the well at 275. And my final one is one that we kind of mentioned, but I believe you might have mentioned his name, but Pacheco rushing yards I didn't see it available on FanDuel. Let me see if I can find it on DraftKings, but I believe you can get alts at 70, and I think ladder that thing up to 90 or 100. Here's the deal. We saw the Cincinnati run defense against Ramondre Stevenson. The Cincinnati run defense is going to be one that we want to target. And we talk about pass funnels. We want to target the pass defense in Denver for Najee. You mentioned Najee. And in Cincinnati, we are going to want to target the run game. And so let's just target where it makes sense. And targeting the run game there makes a lot of sense. I also don't think Bengals are going to provide much of a pushback. So I just think they're going to be playing, Chiefs are going to be playing from a nice positive game script. And give me Pacheco alt 70, 100, ladder that baby up too. So we threw out a lot of good ones here, and I write these notes because then I go back and like dive in further before you and I finalize the Dub Club card. So I think I have a feeling a lot of these are going to be on the Dub Club card this week. I like a lot of these. Any final thoughts from you guys on alt before we move to anytime touchdowns?
That's it for me on those.
Okay. Awesome. Tim in chat, always good to see you. Contrarian DFS spot, Jones Neighbors. I think Jones Neighbors, as much as I do not think Daniel Jones is a good NFL quarterback, if there's ever, as we said, a spot for him to shine, it would be against this Washington defense. So I absolutely think that is definitely in play. So anytime touchdowns, we've been crushing it. We have to take one more victory lap. We swept the board on Thursday, anytime touchdowns. We missed parlay by one. We got 2 out of 3 of Friday night touchdowns. We definitely did well on Sunday touchdowns, and then swept the board on Sunday night touchdowns. And then Monday night got 2 out of 3. We posted Breece Hall, Debo, Garrett Wilson, all were plus money. 2 out of 3 hit. Unfortunately, just missed that Garrett Wilson touchdown. 2 go to Allen freaking Lazard. But let's talk touchdowns here. Tyler, what touchdowns are you liking for week 2?
We'll have some fun, and we'll face some quarterbacks I think overexceeded in week 1. Give me Dallas's defense to score a touchdown. Ooh. I do not think Derek Carr is near as good as what he played in week 1. He played Carolina's JV defense. He was just throwing the ball up down with it. We know Dallas is going to put pressure on him. So I could see him making some mistakes in Dallas's defense getting in there. And if you bet it on DraftKings and get the special teams too, we know Turpin can take one back. He took one back in week 1. So
that's a great point about DraftKings.
On both of those.
Yeah.
You're not going to like my next one, Meg. 49ers defense to score a touchdown because they also played the other JV team in the Giants to where they were just able to throw whatever they wanted, run whatever they wanted, and everything worked. Now you're going to play the Niners that are going to get Nick Bosa in the backfield on Darnold. They're going to have guys in the secondary that can make plays. Like that defense is good against the Jets. So I can see both those defenses scoring.
I mean, that might be a little parlay. I mean, I don't want to spoil the parlay section, but that could be a little parlay for you there, Tyler. A defensive TD special teams special. No, what is it? Do you have any players that you love to get in the box this week?
To go to players, I do want to target that Baltimore game because I think that's a blowout.
Yeah.
I'm going to the other running back. Give me Justice Hill at like 4-1 to score a touchdown.
Okay.
I don't think they want to run Derrick Henry as much. They want to save him for the playoffs. If they get up big in this game quick, which is very possible, They might just sit him and just go to Justice Hill and let him run the ball a ton. So I don't mind taking a shot at him on 4-1.
All right. Very nice. I like it. Yeah, I mean, I will say that I probably am going to be sprinkling on Derrick Henry 2 tuds because he is so juiced for 1. And by the way, the guys check out their Underdog show from last night. Wednesday nights, they do an Underdog show at 9:30. Check it out. It's a great show. But they talked about 3 guys they like for a 2 touchdown parlay. That likely will be on Dub Club. Guys, subscribe to Dub Club or check out their show. But I'll give you a hint. Derrick Henry was definitely one of them for a potential 2 touch situation.
Another one I liked was
it all could
JT
happen
at -105.
Oh, I like that a lot. Yeah. I mean, that game they should just dominate.
What Saquon did. Yeah. Malik Willis is going to be on the field. They should definitely have a lead. He's going to find out eventually.
Yeah. You said JT was -105?
Yep.
I like that.
I'm looking to see if there's a better number on that.
Yeah, I pulled up FanDuel's easy to
plus 105 on DK.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay. I like that one a lot. He's still got a ton of usage last week. And so, you have to,
he's always going to get a ton of usage.
Yeah. Yeah. So exactly. Even though Richardson, gets his and that kind of stuff, I do think this could be a great spot for JT. I like that. I think that's a great call out. So yeah, I like JT. Steve, who are you liking for anytime touchdowns this week?
Well, 2 of my favorite anytime touchdowns are guys that each of you picked for their props to push. So, and that's J.K. Dobbins and Cooper Kupp. But guys that I will give separate to that, that I really like, is in that Cooper Kupp game that I mentioned, Kyren Williams. I like the other side, and I like Trey McBride. I think the Rams secondary we saw is not good. Their linebackers in secondary, they've young linebackers. They trade away Ernest Jones. They just have young linebackers. Trey McBride got a lot of targets. Look, Kyler didn't look great, but I think McBride's gonna get featured, and he's plus 220 on FanDuel for anytime. I like that a lot, and in one of the high scoring games. And the other anytime that I point to, is 2 of them. One, that 49ers game, speaking of, yes, it could be 49ers defense. I like George Kittle. I think as we see the 49ers, it can oscillate between anyone. Mason's juiced high, Debo's plus 105, which is fine. But George Kittle, plus 195, give me that, again, against a Vikings defense that was not challenged week 1 and is just going to face just a much better offense. And then the final one that I am looking at and pushing for is I mentioned him as a guy to push, but they didn't get a touchdown week 1. But I think Najee gets in the box this week. He had so much usage last week.
Yeah.
And plus 140 for against a run defense that just got absolutely shredded a week ago. I think Najee is gonna, when they get in, assuming they get inside the goal line area, it's gonna be Najee. And he just got so much more usage than Warren or Patterson combined. And I expect him to be the focal point. And I think the Steelers, their defense, we saw how they dominated last week. I think they're going to dominate again, a rookie quarterback. I think a lot of carries, a lot of opportunities for Najee to get there.
I like that a lot because a lot of the running backs I like this week are juiced a ton. Like Henry, like Pacheco, Breece Hall, juiced a ton. So I do like that. Dobbins isn't at 155. Speaking of him, and then I'm just writing down some of the odds. Dobbins is at 155, Najee at 145. I like that you can get JT at plus 105. So those are some running backs that are in really good spots that aren't like juice like crazy for 1. So I do like that a lot. Like you said, Mason. I mean, there's a ton of running backs in great spots this week, but the books know it. So that's a great point. Okay, I'm gonna go to cover a couple receivers because again, we kind of covered that You guys kind of covered the running backs where we're getting a good number on, like JT and Dobbins and Najee. And I like all the other call outs. I'm going to go to another 2 receivers that still are giving you some nice plus odds. So I think I talked about Baker. I think you could go to, honestly, any of his receivers, to be quite honest. But I think you could go in this. Let me find this game really quick. Sorry, on FanDuel, Bucks Lions. So I have multiple, honestly, pieces I like in this game. And it feels like I'm like carbon copying like the vibes of how we felt about the Rams Lions game. But I feel that way. I feel like it's going to be a close game. I feel like it's going to be a high scoring game. I know the Rams Lions went under, but it went to overtime. It was back and forth. I feel like it's going to be back and forth, close game, high scoring game. Again, I like the passing game. And so, Mike Evans is only plus 120, but it's still plus odds. I don't mind that. I like Mike Evans, but if you just want me to rattle off a couple in the passing game, I like Mike Evans at plus 120. You can get him on rod, even money. Godwin at plus 180 and Jameson Williams at plus 170. So, I just honestly think all those are in play. I'm not saying all are going to hit, but I think absolutely all those are in play. So again, the fact that you're getting all those at even money or plus money, I like. But yeah, I'll make Mike Evans my official one that I love at plus 120. But again, really love ASB, Jameson Williams, Chris Godwin in that game. So favorite game of the week by far. And I'll just give you one more. Think they'll try to get Garrett Wilson in the box. He crushed me on Monday night by not getting in the box, not getting that last garbage touchdown, and it goes to Lazard, even with the backup and Tyrod in. But I think he and A-Rod need to get on the same page. This has got to be a get-right game for the Jets against the Titans. I love the nice thing about the Jets is it runs through 2 guys. Lazard got 2 touchdowns, but you could tell the offense is going to run through Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. And so I love both, but Garrett Wilson if he gets in the box, you got him at plus 160. So I really like the Garrett Wilson at plus 160. I think they're going to make an effort to really get him going this week. So any final thoughts on touchdown, guys, before we head over to the parlay streets?
No, I agree. I really like the Garrett Wilson call. I know Breece Hall got all that usage, but like you said, Titans have, that run defense could be elite with Justin Simmons and DeAndre Sweat.
I was going to say, if you do target any Breece Hall props, I would definitely do rush receiving because they get him involved in the receiving game for sure.
Especially in that matchup.
I was going to say, Titans were always known.
I got a couple
Go ahead,
things.
sorry.
I was just going to say, the touchdown. I was going to say, I think you just might want to back yourself. Fields touchdown at 2-1 also. You do really hate to see him on the RPO on the goal line, and he keeps it and punches it in, and Najee doesn't get the touchdown.
Yeah.
So I hate that. And then when you brought up Garrett Wilson, that just made me think of receivers that underachieved in week 1 that probably bounce back. Terry McLaurin plus 230 against a terrible Giants secondary. They probably don't get much pressure on Jaden Daniels like he's seen against the Buccaneers. So he's still going to tuck and run, but I think he can find Scary Terry at some point to catch a touchdown at that point.
I mean, he blew him up. He was wide open. Terry had his man beat deep, and Daniels missed it. Apparently, there was another one that Terry was wide open that Daniels chose to run. That was one of my concerns about Daniels, Tyler, is the fact that you got to take the blessing and the curse with running quarterbacks. Sometimes they pass up a touchdown shot, to tuck it and run, and so that was unfortunate. I like that call out, Tyler, a lot, except the only thing that's in the back of my head is I am blown away by how bad Cliff Kingsbury in just preseason week 1 cannot get, Terry McLaurin schemed open, cannot use creative schemes and motion to get him open. He was lined up just static for 80% on the left-hand side. It was very frustrating. I hope that improves. And like Giants have a get right spot, Washington does too. So, I don't mind that. I am frustrated as hell already with Cliff Kingsbury offense. It's just, oh my God, it burns me already. So, and I liked it like when it first happened. And now I'm like, oh shit, this is terrible. I hope he gets canned. So Tim and Chu to erupt. Yeah, you got to think after a quiet week 1, they're going to get him going. There's no way he stays quiet.
Especially that Buck secondary is very banged up.
Oh,
very banged up.
Absolutely, extremely banged up. That's a great call. There was one other thing I was going to say. I'm not sure, but I like a lot of our touchdowns. Wrote that down. Oh, I know what I was going to ask, Steve. Just in talking this through about, pass funnel, run funnel that you want to target. Titans were always known as a pass funnel. Are they still, or did they improve their secondary significantly?
Well, they improved their secondary. They got Ladarius Sneed from Kansas City. But that defensive front is still their strength. I mean, Justin Simmons has been one of the best, run stuffing interior defensive tackles, but especially run stuffing. And then they go and get, Sweat from Texas, who is essentially the same type of guy. I mean, this is honestly, Titans from years ago when they had like Albert Hainsworth and those big physical defense tackles who just dominated inside. So yeah, I mean, they're trying to do the same sort of thing. I expect them to definitely control the interior of most offensive lines.
So the secondary isn't something you're scared about, though.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Just wanted to check that. Tim in chat says, I thought F1 was injured. I think that means Terry. No, they just, if you're talking about Terry, I don't think he has any injury designation, right, Steve?
No,
he's fine. Just Jaden overthrew him, and Cliff Kingsbury is a freaking moron. But I hope Tyler's right. I mean, Terry McLaurin's my favorite player in the NFL. I hope they get him going. It's insane not to try to get the ball to your best player, especially again this week, as Tyler points out, a defense you can absolutely target in the Giants. So yeah, that was fun. We covered some also we like, including some ladders that we like. We covered some touchdowns we liked. Again, a lot of this will likely be on Dub Club. Check that out. Again, you can get to it tomorrow from our homepage, or click on the sports betting, the NFL betting card, and the link is there. It's also on my Twitter. So parlay time, guys. I think Tyler should parlay Dallas and 49er defense for some fun odds, but any other parlays that you like, Tyler?
Do not hate that idea of parlaying the defense, so I probably will end up doing that, but
yeah.
I think I have to bet the Bateman correlated parlay with his receptions, receiving yards, and touchdown every week. He's going to catch a touchdown eventually with this Baltimore offense. If you do his anytime touch to have 40 yards and under 2.5 catches on FanDuel, it is 63-1. I will gladly take a shot on that.
That's all. So it's Bateman under 2.5 catches
and 40 yards. So just give me a 45-yard touchdown catch. Let me see a little more. Just throw one up, and he comes down with it and runs in the end zone. And we never see him again the rest of the game.
I absolutely love that. Love the I know you do too. Love the correlated parlays, because it just, we talked about it last week when you throw in an under to alts or touchdowns. Yep. You and I know I've talked about several times, Tyler, Steve and I have talked about several times, love those anti-correlated parlays. And there's so many different ways you can do them, but that's a really interesting way to approach it, is the under receptions, alt the yards, get the touchdown, boom, Yahtzee. So I like that. Jamie likes that. He just picked up Bateman in Scott Fishbowl. Love that. Steve, what are you thinking of for your same game parlay?
So my same game parlay, I'm going to go Giants Commanders. Let's target some bad defenses. And here's the thing: these teams, you don't have to go too far to get some positive odds. So what I have here is on FanDuel, Malik Neighbors, 80+ receiving. Obviously, you could all do it even higher. Brian Robinson, anytime touchdown. We saw him both utilize getting some goal line carries and in the passing game. He almost had multiple touchdowns this past week. And then Daniel Jones, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Again, Baker Mayfield had 4 passing touchdowns, should have had 5. Basically, I think any quarterback could get 2 touchdowns against this passing defense. So those 3 together is just plus 1,100.
Nice.
That to me is very strong. There's definitely other ways you could approach it. You could do Jaden Daniels anytime touchdown. If you think he's going to run for another one again, you could do his passing yardage, given the weak Giants secondary. And those would tweak those odds slightly. But I just like that kind of mentality of targeting these just really, really bad defenses.
Yeah. No, I think that's a game to target the bad defenses. I mean, Tyler talked about Terry. We talked about Neighbors. and Daniel Jones earlier. So I think putting it together, covering both sides and attacking both defenses makes a ton of sense. I'm going to go to the game that I've been talking about all show, and that's the Tampa, the Bucks, Lions game. Let me pull it up. I know what I want to do, so I can pull it together quickly. But this should be a fun one in Ford Field in the Dome. But it's one of my favorite alts going back to Baker. The other thing about Baker that we have to think that it wasn't just like a 1-year facade, I think, is, it was like the Canales quarterback whisperer got Baker on track and all those good things, but he's surrounded by good weapons. And now he's got a really, really, really good offensive line. And then let's not forget, it's not like they got some schmuck Cliff Kingsbury crap in for offensive coordinator. They've got the Rams former, what he wasn't offensive coordinator, or was he the OC?
I can't remember what he was last year. He was with the Rams when Baker came and showed up for a year.
Showed up like the day before game.
Anyways, he's been with the Rams. He went to Kentucky. He was at Will Levis for a year, then went back to the Rams. He's a good offensive mind. He's part of this Sean McVay tree. I don't know what his official, I can't remember what his official title was last year. I don't think it was offensive coordinator. I think it was like pass game coordinator or something like that. But because I think Zach Robinson was the offense coordinator. But anyways, this guy, I think he knows what he's doing. And
Liam Cohen is the name.
Yeah, Liam Cohen, this guy. And I agree. I think coaching's good. O-line's good, and the weapons are good. People forget Chris Godwin played hurt last year.
Yeah, and that too. So, I don't think this is just a 1 week thing. And again, while the Detroit defense is improved, obviously Hutchinson is a monster. That might be mitigated a little bit with a very, very good offensive line for the Bucks. And so I just love Baker 275. That's one of my favorite alts on the board this week. So I'm just going to build a same game parlay around exactly what I said. I love the passing game. So give me Baker 275, Mike Evans 80, Godwin 6. I'll just do 60 to keep it somewhat tame. And then I'm actually going to do Jameson's yards and ASB's receptions, because I think they're just going to start peppering him. But with ASB, we know the ADOT's not as long sometimes. So I'm going to, again, we talked about a banged up Bucks secondary. So again, that's why you want to attack the passing game on both sides. So I'm even being kind of watering this down, but you do JMO for 50, and then you do ASB for even just 7 receptions. Actually, no, that's pretty juiced. If you use 8 receptions for ASB, which is well within his range of outcomes, obviously, especially with the kind of mentality that we think we want to get him going and against this banged up Bucks secondary. So again, it's Baker 275, Mike Evans 80, Chris Godwin 60, Jameson Williams 50, ASB 8 receptions, 24-1. It's the game we want to target. So, so I like that a lot. I could build parlays with you guys all day. It's too much fun. I think all 3 of these parlays were a ton of fun. And I especially love, when we talk through, like Tyler did, those anti-correlated parlays. Those are a ton of fun. So now we can relate it to Thursday Night Football. So we'll switch the gear. We'll talk Thursday Night Football, talk about the game, talk about first touchdowns, and we will build a Thursday Night Football same game parlay. If you're in here, make sure to hit that like button. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the Fanspeak Network and check out our Dub Club 7-day free trial. Link is on the NFL betting card and will soon be up on the homepage of fanspeak.com on the ticker below. So let's see. Tim asked, how did Washington get stuck with Kingsbury? I don't know. I liked it at first. And then now that I see all the other offensive coordinators, like the New Orleans offensive coordinator, the Washington coach that went to Seattle, I just wish we would have gotten a more creative coordinator. So pretty bummed about that. It says JMO should be facing rookie Tyreek Smith. And so I like JMO to have a big game. So I like that a lot. And he talks about an anti-correlated parlay to boost those odds. He parlayed Coleman under tonight. He's a Coleman hater. We like Coleman tonight, but you could do the under receptions over yards or vice versa if you want to spike those odds. So anyways, let's switch gears and talk Thursday Night Football. So we've got, of course, a big AFC East matchup, Bills, Dolphins. It's in Miami. don't have as much of the like sun beaming down on them on a night game. But I'll go to you first, Tyler. What are you thinking for this game? Who do you like? And then we'll get into the nitty gritty of, obviously picking some first touchdowns and doing a show parlay.
Well, we just had some news come through on some guys we talked about. Neighbors was today with a knee injury, and as for tonight, they're expecting Jalen Wright to be active. So I know they were leaning towards A-chain plays, but I think it could be more of like he's going to suit up. We'll use him if needed. Wilson and Jalen Wright from the wall. But I think Buffalo smashes them in this spot. Miami was not impressive to me at all in week 1. They should have lost that game. They had a 14-point swing on a 2-play series where Etienne almost fumbles it out the back of the end zone and Miami jumps on it. And the next play is a deep ball touchdown to Tyreek Hill. So I think they should have lost that game. I think they should be 0-1. Their offensive line doesn't look good.
No.
I think Buffalo can come in, run the ball, throw the ball, and be able to get pressure on Tua. Tua can't get away. Buffalo didn't look the best against Arizona. They gave up some points, but we knew Arizona's offense was going to be good. Buffalo was able to fight right back and be able to pull away with that game. So I think they come into Miami and they do what they've done every time and they just win this game.
Yeah, no, they've historically dominated Miami with Allen, even with Mike McDaniel, honestly. So yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense. And definitely I like Buffalo in this game too. Probably not betting the side, but do you have any take on the over-under, Tyler, on the number?
Slight lean to the over, just because I think the defenses could give up a bunch of points.
Okay.
I see this turning into a shootout before it's a stalemate.
Yeah, just thinking about those anti-correlated things, just wanted to think of how much it's worth taking shots on some of those. Like, oh, I like this parlay, I'll toss the under on. But the only thing I was trying to like make a case in my head for the under is, Buffalo is more run heavy now. And so could that slow the clock down? Maybe we get lucky, but I could definitely, these are two teams that can score quickly, as we know. So that makes me nervous and so I think your slight lean to the over makes sense a lot. So Steve, how do you see this game going tonight?
Yeah, kind of with Tyler, I think Buffalo wins. So I definitely like Buffalo getting some points here. Probably would, I don't really like the over-under in this game. Would probably lean the over just because we know these teams can score big chunk plays, big, they have hero ball players on both sides and two really good quarterbacks. So I'm typically not going to like an under when you two really good quarterbacks.
Right.
Sometimes it can hit, especially early in the year, but on a short week, but I'm still going to probably not even make a stand there. Overall, I also agree I mentioned that to you earlier. I think a chain is probably there as a decoy or, playing 20%. I just can't imagine he's going out there getting 7 targets like he did a week ago. That's why I like kind of my favorite guy to target this tonight is Jalen Waddle. And, even with Wright being active, I don't think that changes much. I don't think the rookie is going to have the same role that obviously Chain did. I think he's going to have some of it, but I think Jalen Waddle's the guy to really target on the Miami side. And then, of course, from the Bills, it's, Josh Allen runs this team.
Yeah, Josh Allen show for sure. In chat, we have Scott, Wisconsin, Florida Project. Thanks for joining us. I know you've been in our chat before. Appreciate it. Parlay for tonight, JW over 62.5, TH over 90, Hill over 97.5, Allen under 246, team total over 265. The only one of that, I like that in general. The only one that makes me nervous is I kind of don't. I like Allen's over in this game. He's historically done really well against Mike McDaniel's defense. Sorry, go ahead.
5.5 worries me. So that
What's
team total at 265.5 worries me a little bit.
I think you might have slid an extra 5 in there. But yeah, that's the only one. But no, thank you for putting your parlay in there, Scott. I appreciate that. I'm on Scott Allen's over. Whoa. I'm on Josh Allen's over, but I think in general it makes sense. And if you did want to take an uncorrelated shot, you may want to throw in his under with one of his receivers, then you'll get some odd boosts if you do truly love his under and stuff. So a couple questions about Coleman specifically from Jamie. Do you think Ramsey will be covering Coleman, or which Bills receiver would he shut down? Thoughts from either of you?
I don't know. They might, Ramsey is a guy they move around, and they might have him on Dalton Kincaid. So I'm not sure how they'll handle it, since there isn't a true alpha, Bills wide receiver.
Right.
So it wouldn't shock me if it's very, play dependent.
Okay.
But yeah.
Tyler, do you have a take on that?
I don't think he's shutting down anybody. I don't think he can do that anymore. I mean, he was getting cooked by Brian Thomas in his first game.
Yeah. That's a good point. So Tim asks, always good to see you, Tim. I want to play Coleman. Could this be his breakout game? I think you're kind of on that, right?
Yeah, I think this is his breakout game. I just think these young guys catch an older guy like Ramsey by surprise. He's like, I could stick with these guys downfield, and then they run right past him. He's like, oh shit, there they go. Yeah,
and he makes it's hard to pick. Buffalo's gonna be tough all year to pinpoint which game is whose game, basically. Is it going to be a Coleman game, a Kincaid game, a Shakir game? So, but yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk first touchdown then. Tyler, I'll go to you. I want to give you a first chance if you want to go with your guy, Keon, but who do you like for first touchdown?
I don't hate that idea of going with Keon Coleman, but it's only 15-1. I feel like you should get just such a higher number on a guy like that.
Yeah.
Give me Dalton Kincaid at 13-1, though. I mean, he was on the field the entire game last game. Arizona's defense was bracketing him with 4 guys entire game, so he couldn't get the ball. I don't see Miami going that same route, and they definitely want to get him involved. So I could see it being let's get this guy involved early. He's on the first drive, scores a touchdown, 13-1. Yeah.
I like that. I definitely like that. Keon Coleman and Kincaid are my 2 favorite Buffalo receivers to get in the box tonight. So like that, and it easily could be, the first one. So I think that's a good call. Steve, who do you like for first touchdown tonight?
I mean, mine's going to be who I just mentioned, Jalen Waddle, 12-1. Nice. Explosive guy. I know Tyreek Hill had the 80-yard touchdown. Jalen Waddle had a 63-yard catch. This guy's just as explosive. So sign me up. Hill's not historically had as good of games against Buffalo. And I think Waddle is, a very, very talented guy. So,
yeah, I like that. I mean, we all know the kind of the low hanging fruit, Hill and Allen are the ones that are very likely at 6-1, 6.5 with Josh Allen. But I'm going to take another long shot. He did not get much usage last week, but I wonder if usage could change if Devon Achane is limited. If that is limited, then he had a lot of work in the receiving game last week. If you look at his routes run, his targets, he was even split out wide some. If that's limited for Achane this week, then maybe they get Jonnu Smith a little more involved. So this is a total long shot. I'm not putting much on this, but it's just for fun. Jonnu Smith is 22-1. So, I mean, he's always been that big athletic, it could be a red zone threat. So obviously their receivers are little guys, little speed guys. So, if they're maybe a little closer in and, but not close enough for Jeff Wilson to pop it in, you're not worried about, Tua vulturing it. So yeah, it's a long shot, but it's a fun one. Now what will be fun is us to make a show same game parlay. So that's what we're going to do now. Thursday night show, same game parlay. Tyler, I'll let you take the first leg. What do you like for tonight? What's your favorite leg of tonight for a show same game parlay?
Let's go Keon Coleman, 50+ receiving yards at +112.
I was gonna say that you came in with that one. You gotta lock in on that one. Yep. I like that. Okay, perfect. I think that's perfect. Okay, so we got Keon Coleman, 50+ yards. I'll go to you next, Steve. Then I'll have the pressure to bring it home.
Mine is the guy I've been talking about, Jalen Waddle, 80+ +160.
I like it. I like that you even went up to 80 and said, screw it. I'm going up to 80. Well, didn't they both get 100 last week?
Yeah. He got 100 on 5 catches. And like I said, I don't think Achane's gained 7 targets this week. Just a guess.
Yeah. I do like the Josh Allen. You could approach this a couple different ways. I do like the Josh Allen 250. It's still plus odds at 106. I also like if you wanted to do Josh Allen rush passing combo, because we know he just absolutely just puts the team on his back and just plays Superman at all times. So I don't mind that, but you have to go up to 300 to get plus odds on that. Or I don't mind James Cook rush plus receiving. He got involved in the receiving game last week. Buffalo is getting a little more run heavy, and Cook is getting most of that volume. So you can do James Cook rush plus receiving 90 plus. Which one's your guys' favorite of those three? I can't decide, and I don't want to break this beautiful same game parlay. What are those three were your favorites, Tyler?
I like the Josh Allen passing prop the best. He's hit 300. I think it's 5 straight games. Yeah. That's what I was leaning towards. Okay, good. Yeah. That's what I was leaning towards. I've already bet that individually, by the way. It will be on Dub Club sneak peek there. So, and actually this is very close to some of the list. It's basically going to be on Dub Club in probably just an hour. So getting a nice preview there, but let me read it out. It's a 6-1 same game parlay. Keon Coleman, 50 plus receiving yards. Jalen Waddle, 80 plus receiving yards. Josh Allen, 250 plus, 6-1. I like that a lot. Can't hate that. In chat, I know Steve likes this. I think we all are on board for this. I mean, I think Hill and Waddle from the Dolphins are the most likely to score. So I still like Waddle. You get the plus odds there. I assume, do you guys both like Waddle anytime touchdown?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
All right, Jamie's hoping we're wrong on Coleman for his parlay. But we're always rooting for each other so I hope all your other parlays go well, Jamie. No, rooting for all your guys' parlays. I do like the Waddle anytime touchdown as well. But I like this show parlay. I'm going to put it in right after the show.
There's a boost on FanDuel. It's a 50 boost. It jumps that parlay up to 9-1.
Yes, there is that, and then there's also FanDuel has a risk-free going today too.
Yep.
Yeah, and I believe DraftKings, speaking of touchdowns, have a risk-free touchdown bet for every game day. So it's all, you can use it for anything on Sunday, tonight, Sunday, and then the Monday night game. Definitely, it's totally risk-free on DraftKings. So definitely want to hit all of those boosts, and especially the risk-free stuff. For sure. Yeah. So I already put that in as well. So, all right, guys, final thoughts for week 1, final thoughts for tonight. Tyler, I'll go to you first. Any final thoughts? And again, I'm so pumped you guys were 5-1 week 1. I've got good vibes and good feelings you're going to run it back.
Yeah, lock those picks in. Hopefully we just keep the momentum going over there. Sorry to our guy Jamie in the chat, because Keon Coleman's going to have a big game tonight. It's going to lead the Bills to a win.
We're rooting for you, Jamie. We just want our Coleman thing to cash. But he says, let's win some money. So we're all locked in there. I love it. All right, Steve, final thoughts for tonight or week 2?
Yeah, no, I'm lockstep with Tyler tonight. I think Bills win. I think Keon Coleman could be a big part of that. But no, I think week 2, we talked about the games we like to target, the teams we like, and certain players. And I think there's a lot of spots we can exploit. So, and we talked about a few pivots there, or ways to ladder things. So yeah, I'm excited for this week.
Yeah, I'm excited for this week too. Like we said, we all round, from the sides and totals to the anytime touchdowns and props and ladders to having a massive Sunday night sweeping the board and hitting a bunch of parlays. We have had a massive week 1 here at Fanspeak. So again, appreciate you watching. Be sure to like this episode, subscribe if you haven't already. Tell a friend if you've got some friends in the betting space. Tell a friend. We appreciate it. And of course, check out our content on fanspeak.com. And if you're interested, check out the 7-day free trial of Dub Club, link below, and on the NFL betting card. So this has been fun again. We hope everybody cashes those slips. So for Tyler, for Steve, I'm Meg. Good luck this week, and we will see you next time.